All right, yes, we have made it back. Episode 2, me and Elijah, we thought, hey, let's just keep this ball rolling. The man's back from Cronulla, Shark Stadium, round 2 of the Oz Supercross Series 2025. Plenty to talk about, plenty of plenty of talking points, sorry, sir. But yeah, first off, man, that trip again, Adelaide to Cronulla, dude, you've done another banger. And how you feeling, mate?
Yep.
How you going?
Yeah, dude, I'm more tired from the drive than I am from the actual racing itself. Cronulla's good. Like Sydney you can get it done in a day at least.
Yeah,
So it's about 14 and a half hours. So it's a solid day.
yeah.
But drove up on Thursday, drove home Sunday straight afterwards. Yeah, dude, it was a good weekend overall. I'm stoked on the weekend. The trip was cool. Cronulla's a pretty cool area. Like I'd never been to that area before, and the area was sweet. I had a good time. I think the Supercross being there for the first time I think it was awesome. So
Yeah, look good.
overall,
Yeah,
yeah, all positives, man.
yeah. And you stayed right near the track, didn't you?
Nah, I was like about 35 minutes away.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But there's actually like a hotel that's like basically connected to the stadium.
Yeah, okay.
This brand new fancy hotel, and a few of my mates were staying there, so I got to go up and get the
Oh,
Instagram
that's what I
photo.
seen. Yeah.
Yeah, get the Instagram photo, and then I was back out to the other place.
You were balling, but not balling that hard, right?
Yeah. We're faking it. Fake it till you make it, or something like that.
Perfect. Everyone.
Yeah.
And that was what I wanted to touch on as well. Obviously, a few people seeing Kale shout out to Kale Makem, MXMW. He threw in some cash or got a few people to throw in the likes and all that sort of stuff. And everyone must have seen that and been like, oh boy, he brought the penthouse with the earnings, eh? So that was cool though. How was that for you, man? Obviously would have helped out with the back pocket a little bit for sure.
Oh, dude, it was awesome. Like, to be like brutally honest, just leading into Sydney, I was like on the edge of not being able to go because like funds was pretty tight, and I'm sort of like, trying to work back here as well, and obviously bills and stuff like that. And I said to my missus, I was like, I honestly don't know how I'm going to make this happen. Like, it was pretty touch and go. And then so I reached out to Kale, and dude, he was happy to help out. And
every little bit counts.
Yeah, for sure. Like we had a bit of fun with it, like we were sort of posting stories about it, and making some jokes about me being conked out on the side of the road and stuff like that. So dude, like without Kale like helping out and putting in the money that he did, like it would have been like pretty scraping the barrel. So I was stoked to have Kale on board, and I think we sort of we get along well, and we're kind of like the same sort of same internet presence or like online presence. We're both trying to play the game, and it worked out well.
No, it was good. Like, obviously, we didn't sort of touch on that in the previous episode. Obviously, you did the bike build and stuff that with him. So you've built that sort of, relationship with him as well. I was going to talk about as well your sick mechanic that you brought along with you for this weekend. Obviously, that played a part to the story as well. But that's all part of it. That's part of the, the privateer story. Kale, working it up on the socials, yourself doing that sort of stuff, the bands. It's all that sort of stuff that people really get into, and I think we've lost a little bit in our Australian SX sort of thing, and it's sick to see it come back. So you guys are doing a sick job of that, and actually bringing people along for the ride and the journey, and people enjoying that sort of thing, eh? So
that's exactly right. Like we aren't pro riders, so why try and act like pro riders? You know what I mean? Like we're not factory guys, so why do we act like factory guys? So just trying to bring that that loose vibe, kind of probably 90s kind of vibe to it, and just have some fun with it. And having Trent there, like,
how was it?
I mean, dude, a lot of people probably know Trent, and to be honest, like we couldn't walk 5 meters without someone being like, "Is that Trent Morgs?" Like, no. Dude, and then I'm just sitting here like he would get pulled up for posters and signatures more than me, and I'm like, dude, this is nuts. So like. It was awesome having him there, and
he's quite local. He's up
so he's like, I think he said like an hour 20 away from Cronulla, so it worked out perfect. Like
TikTok famous is TikTok famous, so you've well,
dude, and he's got he's got a serious following, and
huge, massive,
Wow. It was like the perfect storm. Like it was like obviously we had been linked up with the bike build challenge with Kale, and then it was a local round for him, and then he mechanic for me, and it just all kind of came together last minute, dude. And we had a ball, man. It was honestly so much fun, And he did really good. He was so stoked on it, and we're actually doing it again in Melbourne. So
Oh, sick.
yeah,
That's so cool.
yeah,
We're going to keep the ball rolling. That's unreal.
yeah.
He's obviously got a background in bikes and stuff, but he would never have experienced anything like that for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that was the thing. Like, he was just so stoked to be there and be like trackside, on the
Yeah.
line. And I think he was more stoked than me. Like,
Sick.
he was
That's
like
cool.
cheering. So
He just would have been hyping you up too, and you're just feeding off of it, right?
massively,
Like,
dude,
that's sick.
massively. Like,
Yeah.
I was obviously stoked on my night, but he was, it was just like we were feeding off each other. He was stoked, I was stoked, and it made the night even better. So yeah, it was
That's
cool.
cool. Yeah. And the big part of the storyline for us, mate, main event for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Far
How'd it
out.
feel, man? Was it good? Are you stoked?
Dude, I am stoked. It was really good to just get through a night like clean, have a pretty decent night riding wise.
Yeah.
And I said to a few guys, I said, I think the best part about it was the LCQ. I got third in the LCQ. So like I actually got in, it wasn't like I was in sixth and
Scraped
everyone
on
else crashed and scraped in, like I actually earned it, which I think for me, that was probably the best part because,
cool.
like I said, like the last couple of years haven't been good. So to actually earn my spot into the main event probably felt better than riding in the mains. The mains were cool, but honestly, I was pretty spent from the day and
you got to get there. It takes you out of you. Yeah.
So, but it was cool. And it's sort of just a little bit of a confidence boost and sort of just to know that, all right, like we can do it. I can get in. And now hopefully in Melbourne, we can now actually worry about trying to race decently in the mains,
And that's it. You spoke about it in the first episode. We just talked about it briefly then. It's just that building. So, round 3 and then onto the next one, you got another few weeks to get through. But then it's that building thing. It's okay, cool. I know I can get it to the main, but now I've got to get through, at least one of those main events in a good rate, and put it where you can be. So it's those small little wins, and you're going to take them while you can. And that's why I was like cheering like hell on Saturday night when I seen it get in the main, mate. I was like, hell yeah, we said it. So I was stoked, man. It's and it's all those little things as well. Good vibe around you, Trent's cheering you on, all those little things. It all plays a part, and it just little bit by little bit, you go, shit, yeah, I'm doing it. Like, which is sick. So
and that's it. Like. Yeah, it was just it just felt like just from the get-go, straight away from the morning, it just felt like like it was going to be a good day. The track was good. Walking the track, I kind of just had a good vibe. The dirt was good. Like everything just felt like it should, you know what I mean? Whereas, rounds 1 and 2 at Redcliffe was just all nerves and scared and, all that stuff. And then, you get a couple more weeks of riding and you sort of, get that confidence in yourself. And then, and then to actually turn that, sort of confidence midweek into making a main, I think it's just, it's going to be massive for me. And, dude, I was stoked. Like it makes the 15-hour drive home a lot better. I can tell you that much.
It makes the drive home more bearable, right? Instead of just being like, why did I do it again? And you're adding it up and you're going, oh man. So no, that's cool. And the lead up to it, everything was good. Like we briefly touched on it last episode, like, getting a couple more days training in, a couple more bike days in. You obviously shared some stuff on socials, working on your whoops and stuff like that. And there was a killer set of whoops there on the night. So paid off, or actually worked out for you?
Yeah, yes and no. Like, I guess whatever you do during the week, it's very hard to translate into race weekends. Like the tracks are just, they get so chewed out and it's very, very hard to replicate that like during the week. But like, I did gain a lot of confidence in my riding and not only my riding, like my bike setup too. Like just by hitting whoops over and over and over the weekend leading into it, like I got to know my bike a bit more. Obviously, Cow is new-ish to me. So it built a lot of confidence in not only my riding, but my bike setup and everything kind of just, like it was just going in the right direction. So the whoops still weren't amazing on the weekend, but we got through and I guess that's all that matters.
I think I seen maybe the first main, and I was like, they showed sort of back in. Obviously, it sucks a little bit because they don't show too much of the back guys and that. But obviously, as you were bunched up at the front there, and I think you just started jumping straight away. I was like, "Yep, there it is."
Yeah, dude.
Well
like
done.
honestly, like first few laps of the first main, they were like, it's hard too because TV just, it's like it doesn't do it justice.
No.
and they were beat to crap like
Yeah.
the first
Yeah.
few laps. And I was just like, you know what, for me to be able to get through these mains safe and like in one piece, I'm going to have to resort to the jump line. And it worked out all right. Like, obviously it's a bit slower, but yeah, I can do it. At least I can do it consistently. So yeah, it was pretty hectic.
No, that's cool. And then the second one, just survive. Like,
Dude, I got a crap start and I went down the first rhythm,
did you?
and like after about the end of the first rhythm, I was like, dude, this is going to be a long main because I am spent because the day program, it's such a long day. We were
Yeah.
there from like 7:30
Again.
a.m. You
Yeah.
know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And you kind of ride twice within 6 hours. And then it's like heat race, LCQ, main event. There's like 20, 30 minutes in between each one.
Yeah.
So, I was spent in the first main from the LCQ still. And then the last main, I was cooked from the first main. So, yeah, it was a bit of survival. And I saw like people around me just cartwheeling. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to roll
Yeah.
this one in. I'm just going to take the safe option and roll around. And still ended up 15th because of people cartwheeling, but yeah, it was tough going.
Taking it. And yeah, I was going to say that carnage at the end of that last 450 meme, that track must have been pretty done by the end
Oh,
of the night.
dude, it was crazy because like the first main, the track was decent. Like it had a few mains. It had SX3 main, 85s, SX2 main, and then us. So like the track was decent. It was pretty good, raceable, wasn't too blown out. And then from then until the second main, there was only an SX2 main, but it was like a bomb got dropped on the track, dude. I was like, I was mind blown at how much it had changed just from an SX2 main to
Yeah.
us. Like,
Yeah.
it was wild. I think the dirt just got to a point where it couldn't hold up
Yeah. It was
anymore,
done.
and it just
Blew.
was gone. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but in saying that, it was really good dirt. Like it was sick dirt.
Yeah. It looked good to start with, and then that's what happens. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
like
did.
you'd probably
Yeah.
rather that than have a crap hard pack or whatever
Yes.
Redcliffe was on the second day. So yeah, it was it was good.
I think it was the finish line turn. I think I counted maybe 6 ruts around the top of
Dude,
that thing up to the face. She was gnarly.
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
You're basically like by the end of the night, you're cutting down so tight, you're nearly like going back on the other track. Yeah.
Seat bouncing from the rhythm lane. So
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah, that's just all part of how Supercross goes, track deterioration and stuff, and new stadium. So new stadium, new dirt, and yeah, talk about that a little bit. Cronulla, Shark Stadium, new town, new city, new fans. How was it? How was the vibe, man?
It was sick. Like it was packed. Like as in, I think it was a sellout. I'm pretty sure they said it was sold out crowd.
Yep.
So however many people that is, but the whole area, like I know it's not that far from Wollongong really, so you get a lot of the same crowd, but I feel like it was a lot of new crowd, and the area itself, like I said, Cronulla is a nice area. Pretty cool, like sort of beachfront, beachish vibes with some really nice houses, and there's this whole new hotel there's a hotel and shopping center. It's all like 18 months old, and so that was pretty cool to have that there. And then everyone seemed stoked. Like the crowd was pretty loud again. Like it seemed like they were engaged in the racing. It was obviously this time I was in the mains, so I was not sitting in the crowd like I was last time. So it was a little like different. But yeah, dude, I think they smashed it. Like I think the night and the day ran pretty smoothly. Pretty much same program as what we had at first round. The pits was across the road, so like we all had we all kind of had to cross the road, which was like a little tricky, but it actually flowed quite well.
Yeah.
And I think too that actually, like, as kind of annoying as it was, I actually think that was kind of sick for the crowd and the fans, because like there was factory guys like Dean Wilson's wheeling his bike down and he's just walking through pretty much the crowd. So, as annoying as it might have been for some people to walk across the road, I actually think it was cool for a fan side of like things to
brings them a little bit more closer.
Yeah,
like you do they do the fan fest and all that sort of stuff in the States. So it just brings that crowd a little bit more closer, gives them that little bit more engagement, and actually makes them feel a part of it, which they'd froth that. So
yeah, exactly. Like when we were wheeling our bikes in for, I think it was the heat race or maybe our qualifying session, the lineup to get into the stadium was like 500-600 meters long. Like there was people everywhere and stuff. So I think I'm not sure what their plans are next year. Like if they've signed a couple year deal with the stadium, I'm not
Yeah.
sure, but like I wouldn't be mad going back there because I think it worked sick. I think the stadium fit a track. Like the track was actually bigger than what we had
Mm.
at Redcliffe. They
Yeah.
reckon that it was pretty similar, like floor space, but I think the stands are a bit further back,
Okay.
so they were able to get a bit bigger track. And and I think with the dirt, they actually used, I believe they used the same dirt as Wollongong last year,
Oh, okay.
which
Yeah.
is like some of the best dirt we have in Australia. Like if we
Yeah.
could take that dirt to every round, like I wish we could.
Happy with that.
So I think as a whole, obviously making the main event makes me have, rose gold glasses on and looking at everything like it's the best thing in the world because I had a good night. But it was good. I think it was a solid crowd. I think they were all happy with it.
Yeah, no, look good from like TV perspective and like
Yeah,
the turnout. That area always brings in a good crowd, be it
yeah,
Newcastle, Gosford from back in the day, from all the way from the top of the coast all the way down to the bottom. That
yeah,
place loves motocross or loves supercross, and anytime they put on an event like that, it's going to bring him in. But even
yeah,
just that area, being more of a football field area, football teams and all that sort of stuff, it's sick to
yeah,
see them do that sort of stuff and actually be accepting and inviting to that sort of thing, being a part of their
yeah,
area, which is rad. So
yeah.
no, that's cool, man. Yeah, did you sort of get a vibe from anyone that it will be back there next year, or were they sort
I
of
Dude, I honestly I didn't ask the question.
yeah,
I
okay.
don't know. Because I know, like, obviously last year at Wollongong, the year before at Newcastle. So I think it's more of a deal with the New South Wales government
Oh,
than
yeah.
rather than stadiums. So
Yeah.
I'm not too sure. I know that I randomly met the owner of the hotel that's attached to the stadium. Like
Yeah, right.
I was up visiting my mate Cheech in his hotel room,
Yeah.
and I got in the elevator and like didn't have a buzzer to get down.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, far out. And this dude rolls in. He's like, oh, you'll need this, mate. And he buzzed me down. I'm like, oh, sweet, cheers.
Yeah, good.
Anyway, he's going on. He's like, oh, are you here for the bikes? I'm like, yeah, I'm here. He's like, what's your job? I'm like, oh, I'm racing. And he's like, oh, sick. And I was like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I actually own this hotel. So I was like, oh, sweet. Anyways, I need a
Sweet.
room for next
Sick
year.
as Rick.
Yeah. But
Sign
but
me
he
up.
was stoked on it because like the hotel sold out. So
Yeah.
I think the local community, well, gauging from what he said, was stoked on it. So I
Yeah.
guess that's what you want to do, right?
Yeah, obviously they've brought outside people in as well, not
Mm,
just the local football people that are
yeah,
always going to turn up for week in, week out football games. So they've brought in another sort of outside demographic to the
yeah,
Cronulla area, to the Shire, to
yeah,
actually experience that part of the coast and what they take away from it. Is a sick event in an awesome area once again, which is
yeah,
cool. So well done to the team for putting it in another awesome location, I feel. So
yeah. And I think that's the thing too. Hey, which has been what AME or Oz Supercross guys have done the best is put it in good stadiums. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like the days of having it in speedways or these out the back whatever stadiums I think are done, like, because this is, if you want to be taken seriously, I think this is the way they need to keep going, is put it in these awesome stadiums and have these venues that draws people. Like obviously that's the way it grows. So
yeah.
hats off to the whole crew for sourcing these stadiums. I can't even imagine the logistics of it all, but yeah,
No.
they done a good job.
No, hats off to them. And it's just, yeah, like obviously they've tried it, time and time again. Where does this work? Where does this work? And if you
Yeah,
find somewhere that works, stick with it. And certain
yeah,
areas, like you just said, speedway places out the back of, Wagga or Albury or something like that, it might not work. You can only try it. But time and time
yeah,
again, they've found out that it hasn't worked. And also it brings a certain level up to where Oz Supercross should be in that, mid to top tier stadium. Obviously, they're off to the big
yeah,
stadium in a few weeks' time, which is huge for them. It would be crazy to even think about the numbers that they have to fork out for that. But, from
yeah,
the stadium at Redcliffe to now being in Shark Stadium, I think, yeah, those are the types of stadiums that you want to see it in. It's in good communities, it's in accessible places, and you're going to get the numbers time and time again, it seems. So,
yeah, yeah. That's 100% right. Like, and with being back to or going to stadiums from year to year, obviously all the riders know the program. The track builders know the layout and how to best to get in there, and it just flows so easy. Like with everything like that side of things, and that's obviously why the US is so successful because they go to these stadiums year in, year out, and they build that relationship with that area and that stadium, and it just keeps growing from there.
Yeah, that's it, man. And the racing, we won't skip past the racing. What did you get to see? Obviously, lights and SX3, a bit of rumble going on in SX3 this
Yeah,
week. That was some bants going on there, and
yeah,
yeah,
we love
SX2
to
and
see
that.
it.
And yeah, SX2, Lux Turner, Ryder Kingsford, and old Tiger Wood stepping up on the podium overall. And I would say old Tiger Wood, the new Tiger Wood, actually. Yeah, so that was cool to see. Young fella step up there on the podium. How was it in the stadium, SX2? Did you get to
Um,
see much of it?
I do again, like being in. I need to watch it all back because being in the races, I'm like out the back, getting organised. I'd see the sort of the first bit of the races,
Yeah,
and then we'd
yeah,
have to go obviously on the line and get organised. But yeah, I think obviously Lux with the win again was cool, but it wasn't as dominant as
no,
rounds 1 and 2.
yeah,
You know,
right. Yeah,
Kingsford was right there, and
yeah,
you could tell he was pretty hungry for it.
hungry. Yeah,
I didn't see what happened in the second main. I did because obviously I saw Ryder in front, and then we got organised, got on the line, and then Lux was in front. So I didn't see what happened, but yeah, I think Ryder's he's right there. I think it's cool for him to gauge off of Lux. Obviously, Lux has been doing good things in the States. So
yeah,
for Ryder to be, right there, got a main win and sort of was right there in the second one, I think is cool to see and
yeah.
gauge off of. And then, yeah, like you said, young Tiger Wood getting on the podium was cool. He's impressed me. Like I've obviously watched his futures or SMX next races or whatever they
Yeah.
are over there, and he's done well, but it's different when you then jump into a pro, pro Supercross.
It is, even if it's just an Australian series, it's still a
Yeah, yeah,
pros race, and
but
they're older and they've had a little
yeah,
bit more run at it. So
exactly. And the thing that I'm impressed with the most is just the way he's been riding or handling it. He hasn't been too many rookie mistakes, because he is a rookie to the pros.
yeah,
And he's kind of, he's taking what he's getting. He's not over trying. He's not making those rookie mistakes, and he's sort of just taking it as it comes. And I think that's in the 250 class. It's so up and down. So if you can sort of just cruise along and chip away on your laps, you usually end up pretty good. And I think that's kind of his game plan.
he's training with some pretty good talent
Yeah,
back in the
yeah,
States. So he's probably picking up what they're putting down and
yeah,
learning real quick and putting it into practice now, which is cool to see him step up onto the box. And yeah, one that surprised me was Cole Thompson. Obviously, not much time on the bike. He still came over the fourth overall, but
yeah.
yeah, I expected to see him coming out and getting into it a little bit more. But yeah, little less time on the bike. Obviously, was probably one of the key factors into that. But yeah, as time goes on, he'll be back up there, right?
Yeah, definitely. He's got such a sick style. Like
Yeah,
he is a Supercross rider. He's Supercross sort of specialist all year round. So I know
yeah,
he has been on Cowie quite a bit lately.
yeah,
He's been riding one back home and stuff. Obviously a little bit different setup
yeah.
here than he had over America, but he did have his Bud suspension in the Empire bike, which
Okay.
he's obviously then racing at World Supercross. So it'd probably be a familiar setup for him.
Yeah,
But to me, I just didn't. From what I saw, I didn't see him get in the greatest positions off the get go. So,
yeah.
whether he just wasn't quite there off the starts. But I think it was a pretty quiet night for him, which probably is a good thing. Just sort of go under the radar. There was a bit of hype pre the weekend of him coming in and
Him,
rubbing elbows, and we all saw what happened last year with him and his teammates. So
yeah.
I think he come
That's
in
where it
and
came
kind of
from. Yeah.
he was chirping a little bit in some interviews I saw, but I think he kind of just flew under the radar and got through.
How did the track sort of, to you, obviously you're out there racing, but like, yeah, from TV, it was like start and then there wasn't much movement sort of thing. So was it hard to pass, to try and get back into the game sort of thing? Because those front guys, if they got out and they were gone, like, lights class, for example, yeah, Lux and Ryder Kingsford getting out front, they were sort of gone. So it was a little bit harder for those boys to come back into the fray once
Yeah.
got out that little gap. So track beat down and was a little bit tough to get back in it, right?
Yeah, I think like the track was, I mean, first main, yeah, it was kind of like start. That's where they were. But I think as the night went on, it got like, it was so technical with the ruts and stuff in between the rhythms and the way that it was deteriorating. I think actually made it better, or it made it like it made it yo-yo a lot more. Like a guy
Yeah.
would make a mistake and someone would catch so quickly, and then that guy would make a mistake and drop so, off the back so quickly. So as much as there wasn't a heap of passing, there was a lot of like catch and then drop back off, and then catch and then a
Yeah.
mistake and drop back off. So
Yeah.
um
Smooth
yeah,
and steady won the race almost sort of thing, right? It was just
yeah,
keep
yeah,
consistent and move
yeah.
along. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Like there was quite a few mistakes going on, as you could have or probably would have seen with the
Yeah.
crashes and stuff. So I think just it was a thing of like smooth, consistent laps was obviously gonna pay off. And it was kind of like to me, it looked a little bit like everyone was kind of racing themselves on the track. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like there wasn't as much like, say at Redcliffe when it was hard on the second day, there was maybe a little bit more back and forth because you could move around a little bit, you could throw it up the inside. Whereas when you got dirt like we had at Cronulla, there's like 5 or 6 ruts in a turn. You can't just obviously, cut out or
Get
go across
locked
all
in, brother.
those. And yeah, so it was a little bit of like race the track and race yourself.
Yeah.
And just kind of where that put you was where it was really.
Yeah, see, and before we jump into SX1, we've got to talk about this SX3 class. These guys, do they deserve another race or 2 races per night for entertainment value or what? Because, the younger Kingsford and young Ryder Malinowski getting into it there, that was some hard out stuff going on. What you see, man?
Dude, I'm all for it. I reckon let's give them another 3 races. Like,
And some boxing
yeah,
gloves or what?
yeah. Well, dude, imagine if they had to go back out for another main after that. Like,
Fired up.
it would have been crazy. But yeah, dude, I didn't even know it had happened until after the night, and then I went on Instagram and saw it. Like I said, obviously I don't see much when you're riding, but to me, I saw a bit of back and forth when I was sitting there watching, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is like a pretty gnarly battle.
Yeah.
But I didn't see anything that was like maybe worth the outburst or worth the reaction
He just,
from Ryder.
yeah.
I don't know. I didn't see it really.
They were just stop and starting and that sort of stuff. But it was a
Yeah.
good little battle. And as it sort of got a little bit more heated, you're like, okay, what's going to go on
Yeah.
here? And
Yeah.
then just see that video and good old even just to see the promoters like even just on their channels sharing that sort of stuff. It shows you how much goes into this sort of these races and how fired up everyone gets. Do you want to see it? Do you want to hear the swearing that? Yeah, we're Australian. It doesn't matter. But it's like get into it, boys. Like, and they get fired up for it because they're putting everything on the line. Still, it might just be the SX3 class. It might be the lower tier. But hey, these guys are going out there putting the same thing on the line as the SX2 and SX1 guys. So yeah, they can be fired up, right?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. Like, I agree. And I mean, shout out to whoever does the filming for Oz Supercross because they're 2 from 2. They got Phil Nicoletti and Luke Clout's beef in the pits.
You did.
And now they've got Cade Kingsford and Ryder Malinowski at the podium there. So whoever's on the camera and whoever's on the call telling the people to get that shout out because like that's the sort of stuff that we need. I think that's what AMA like America lacks. They lack that side of it. And there is a little bit of like, is it professional? Is it not? I get it that like to show that, but I think that's how the sport's going to grow is the drama, right?
Oh, you got to show some actual, human side of it. We're not just all robots, just like, thank this person on the podium and do this and do that. It's like there is actual human elements that go into this. And if you chop someone's front wheel off and then someone comes in screaming at you, like, be prepared because, like everyone's putting their bodies on the line and going into it. So, yeah, it's for an SX3 class, I'm like, give me more of that. I'm all for it. And I didn't know if it was like, I didn't know if Cade was like, shit, it's my brother's name, but am I yelling at him? What am I doing here? I don't know what was going on. Actually, there was too much like going on like this for me. I was like, didn't know where to look.
I mean, I'm all for it. And like I said, I was kind of like in the stands watching and I saw it back and forth. And like I said, I didn't think it was anything. Obviously, they were stopping and starting. We've seen it all before. I didn't think it was that gnarly. And then obviously, I was honestly really impressed with Ryder Malinowski. He was out front, got caught, got past, fought back, got past. Caught, and for him to sort of stay composed was pretty impressive. I mean, for both of them to stay composed in that situation was pretty
Yeah.
impressive for young kids.
And at their age, but yeah, just took the words
Yeah.
out of my mouth. At their age, they're racing like they're ready to move up and
Yeah.
join the next guys up, which is sick. SX1 man. We'll start at the top. It's Luke Cloud. No, it was Dean Wilson. That
Yeah.
took the win. Psych. Yeah, that was a bit of a kerfuffle there, but yeah, Dean Wilson ended up taking the overall. Obviously, Cloudy. There was a bit of a thing there. We'll get into that. Subes in third. Mitchell Harrison jumped up for fourth, which was cool. He rode really, really good all night. I had eyes on him. He was probably my standout, Mitchell Harrison. He sort of I guess figured it out this next round. Ended up with fourth, and then Hayden Melross chucked it back up on the podium. Not on the podium, sorry, up in the top five, which is sick. And he backs up his rounds 1 and 2 with it wasn't just a fluke. He's actually in it, and goes in top five. So I think we'll start with the with the big one. That was pretty wild. Obviously, there was a rider down situation sort of thing.
Yep.
Dean was already clicking gears into those whoops, and that flagger was nowhere. Obviously, you could see it on TV, so it was clean cut, closed case. Even just watching it, you were like, "What do you mean? What's going on?" That was it. Out on the track, you obviously came around later, and rider down pretty hard, were they? Like, flags and.
I actually saw the whole crash happen.
Did you?
Yeah, I was getting lapped. It was Luke Zielinski, and I was getting lapped. And I've obviously gone wide around the berm. Luke's come around the inside to hit this triple before the main triple, and just spun and hit a slick spot, and then just nose picked the two, and then got slammed into the third.
So it was actually the out of the corner, the triple out. I thought he went from TV. It looked like he went through the whoops, cartwheeled over to that side. So he's coming back the other way. So he wasn't even in the whoop. So the flag was a non-thing.
So this is where because he was in that section after the whoops, and I think the reason for the medic flag halfway through the whoops was because they kind of pushed his bike nearly into the whoops, and then I think the medics had to get across. So he was actually in the next rhythm or the next section, and then the lights were on into halfway through the whoops. So it was a little bit confusing. Like, even when I came around the next lap, I saw the lights completely flashing from the whole way through the next lap. But I was a little confused too, because I was like, well, he's over in the next section. Does that mean I have to single every whoop? I was a bit confused. So for Dean, when he come around, it would have probably only just happened, not, pretty, within sort of 10, 15 seconds. And coming into that wall jump before the whoops, you obviously can't see. You go over the wall jump, you commit, and then he just obviously, with the speed he hits the whoops, he was in it before, you even knew it. And then the lights were halfway through, the flag was halfway through. So it's too late. You can't just chuck on the brakes and stop halfway. So it was obviously, when they reviewed it, they saw, that's fair enough. We're going to reverse that call. But it was a little confusing. But Luke was in the next section.
So from myself, from TV watching it, I thought he cartwheeled in the whoops over and gone, into the middle. So that makes it, okay, cool, there's a flag in the whoop section because he crashed in the whoops. But to hear that was actually on the opposite side. And it's like, that's out of, we're good, play on sort of thing, eh? So I don't even know.
I think that's a thing of, I don't know, like I said, I think they might have pushed his bike sort of a little into the whoops, but I think that's just a thing of learning for the crew is, maybe in that situation, don't put the lights and the Red Cross flag maybe through the whoops where you can't really stop. Maybe have someone at the end of the whoops and stop everyone before they go through. I know it's sort of hard in the moment. But it was a bit of carnage going on.
And all learnings too, and that's a good point. It's something to put forward, even because they're still learning, and that was something I was going to touch on as well. New lights, new sort of flagging sort of situations, new tough blocks. They've got the net style stuff going up in the corners, more dirt. The Oz Supercross guys are really trying that sort of thing and actually trying to make this stuff safer. They realise, the riders are, they're entertainers, so they want to keep them as safe as possible, even though, you have a cartwheel and, stuff happens. It's dirt bike racing, but if they can help out in those situations. So obviously they are trying those types of things and are probably all open ears to, those types of, a little bit of improvement if you've got feedback for them.
Yeah.
That's something to probably put forward, or even something they'll learn from this sort of scenario happening, really,
Yeah.
won't it?
Yeah, well, I think like the steps that they've made already, I mean, the biggest one for me is the tough blocks. Like there was even a few situations on the weekend with the triangle tough blocks where, we're riding very close to the edge of the track because the track's so rutted. So you're trying to find that smooth
Find
track.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. And there was a few times where like I nearly got kicked off the side, where if it was those old square tough blocks, probably would have caught a peg
Yeah.
and just things like that. So like props to Oz Supercross. And I think this is where they can really make strides is, Oz Supercross sort of isn't controlled by, Feld or, a big corporation like, they are in the States where they're
Yeah.
kind of controlled and can't do too much. I think here in Australia, they have a little bit of freedom to try these things. And I think that's where we can, really step up. And I think they have so far. And, I saw a post today from Adam Bailey saying, potential helmet comms coming soon. So,
Yeah.
in that situation with Dino, another thing that could have helped is, hey, comms, there's a light going into the whoops,
Yeah.
and just stuff like that. So I think that's where Oz Supercross has sort of a pretty good area for gain and growth, is that just trial and error, really, because
I
they
think
have a
so.
little bit more freedom with what they do, I think.
Yeah, and it all make the sport safer, and at
Yeah.
the end of the day, that's what, you can only
Yeah.
try and make it safer. Guys
Yeah.
are still gonna crash if you can
Yeah.
help out by, even more dirt on the side of the track, so they're not, flipping off the side of the track like, Faulkner and,
Yeah. Yeah.
missing a name there, but flipping off the side of the track and landing on concrete.
Yeah.
No, no, like, come on, guys, like,
Yeah.
that little bit more investment, a little bit more dirt, guess what? You're gonna keep you guys safe. Yeah, they're gonna crash, but they're not backflipping the concrete. It's, Cooper Webb is what I was going for.
Yeah.
When he done it too, same freaking thing, and it's like, that's gnarly as. So, even if they are bringing in more dirt for rider safety, not just for bigger jumps and all this sort of stuff, is to actually spread it around and make that sort of stuff, then yeah, it's, those little things are gonna really set them apart and actually, yeah, get them closer to that, top tier status of, the events that
Yeah.
they know how to run those events, and just those little extras get you closer to that top event. So
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, like one thing that I actually didn't even really notice was, Adam Bailey said wider track, that
I
they've
did
put in
notice
an
that.
effort to make the track wider, and sort
Yeah,
of then when I read that, I was like, you know what, like it actually has felt like there's more room on the track.
yeah.
And, that is also a combination of having triangle tough blocks, because you do, with the square tough blocks, once they're on the track, it brings it in like a
Oh, yeah.
meter.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it
Each
all feels
side.
pretty tight.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that even just that little bit wider track
yeah,
is massive. You get a little bit more room, especially off the start when you start and you turn straight into a rhythm section.
yeah.
There hasn't been, I mean, touch wood, there hasn't been as many first rhythm
No.
section carnage
Yeah.
as we have seen in the past.
A little bit more space. The boys have
Yeah,
like spread out a little bit more. You can go,
exactly.
3, 4 wide comfortably, and
Yeah,
actually, yeah, do work through that first rhythm instead of being like
exactly.
two stacked up, and then you got one guy going one rhythm, the other guy going he's off
Yeah,
rhythm, and then then you've got a
yeah,
problem, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah,
no, fair point, and that's it. That's why I wanted to sort of do this sort of thing with you, because you're on the track as well and you're experiencing it, and it makes sense now that you've got someone out on the track and you're like, no, this is what I'm seeing
yeah,
from an actual track perspective. And yeah, fair play to them. If those 300 mil on each side of tough block, they're gaining that on the each side of the track, and then they're
yeah,
actually making it a little bit wider, and then you've gained a meter of track by just changing these three little tweaks. It's like, there
yeah,
you go. Like, it's,
massive.
yeah, so
Yeah.
they're that's really
A-
cool that they're,
And I think they've actually really put a emphasis on the first rhythm section is usually, well, so far has been like a pretty tame, well, not tame, but like it's been a very basic rhythm.
yeah,
So everyone can kind of go into that first rhythm and sort of, do the same thing off the start. So
get into
that
a
also
race, not
helps.
just not just hit a,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
like hit, and now here's a triple, guys. Oh shit.
Yeah. 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 Jump out the first turn, quad, but it's been that's been good. And that's also obviously the track builders as well. And yeah, so far it's been great. So I'm stoked on it. I'm sure everyone else is.
Yeah, man. And before we move on, again, I just got to touch on it. Main event guy, that was sick. It was good. Did it feel like, again, I just got to go back to it because a 450 main event, it's sick. I've done it back in the day. I'm not going to be like, oh, hey, been there, done that. It's a sick feeling, and especially a 450 class. And you just, how did you feel? Were you stoked? Stoked.
Dude, I was like, it felt like to get in through the LCQ, like I said, like a third in the LCQ, I fist pumped over the finish line in the
I've seen
LCQ
the
because I was
photos.
like, I was like, yes, like, not because I was like, yes, I got third in the LCQ, more so like I was like, yes, like finally we're in a main event, we've earned our way in. And last year I had one main event at Redcliffe, like to start the season with, and then it all just went downhill from there. But we had 20 gates back then, probably less factory riders, so to actually do it, in this season, it felt good, and I went 15-15, which, out of 18s, whatever. But I
Good, man.
sort of, over the last couple of days of being home and actually able to sort of think about it, process it and whatnot, I've sort of like, I'm sort of pretty stoked on it now. I'd say I'm more happy and stoked on it now than I was at the time, because now I can be like, dude, look, I haven't got a 15th in a main for 3 years,
Yeah.
like for a long time. It's been a pretty rough go. So, dude, I'm stoked on it. It does kind of not make it all worth it, but it helps, sort of the process. It helps sort of be like, yeah, cool. Like we can still do it. We're 30 years old, but we can still do it. And hopefully there's, more to come for sure.
You got plenty left in you, mate. I sit there and go, oh, I think I could. Give me a few weeks. I think we talked about it last week when we were finishing up. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a dumb brain. I think I could do it. So you got plenty left in you, and 30's nothing, man. You're sweet.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's that mentality too. It's like, okay, cool. If you didn't make the main on the weekend and then you've got a, 4-week break and then Melbourne, now you made the main versus now you've got something to work towards and then to work towards before Melbourne. So what does that look like? Like same little program and work on just those little bits and those little tweaks and bits and pieces, man?
Yeah, I think like, I mean, for me, it's just more ride time, just try and get the laps in under me, because like I can probably put down a 1 lap sprint that's, pretty good speed if I really need to. But at the moment, I can't do that, because if I do that, I'll blow myself up and I'll last 2 laps, So, a lot of laps is needed. But I think just going off of, what I did leading into Sydney, I need to hit the whoops another 3 million times just to get more comfortable in those. But, just ride time, man. Like this 4-week break, that we have from now until Melbourne is pretty much double my preseason. So,
Yeah.
So like we're coming in with basically a whole nother preseason of riding for me. And, like you said, to make the main in Sydney just is that extra little bit of confidence that, with more time, I'll get obviously more comfortable on the bike. My speed will come up, and I know, and I even said it after rounds 1 and 2, even when I didn't make the main, just watching the main events, I was kind of like, fire man, like I know that I can do that. I know that I can be out there in that main and put in a half decent result. And then obviously Sydney happens and you're like, okay, it's trending in the right direction. And now it's like, all right, let's actually get some riding in and actually, put in a bit of work and see where we can go. But that's kind of just the goal though, is just keep making the mains and go from there, really.
No, and then it's such a quick series too. So now that's already round 3 out of the way. Obviously, rounds 1 and 2 run on the same weekend, but there goes round 3. Then you've got 4 and 5, and you're done. So now it's like, it's not a 8-round series or a 10-round series. We've got what we've got, and we're thankful for it. It's cool. But for someone like yourself, it's like, okay, cool. Now I've got 4 weeks. Do I work on my starts? Do I just piece, bits of the track together? Do I work on faster through the rhythm lane sort of thing? So now you've like, okay, cool. I'll put it in the main. All right, this week I'm on starts, burn a clutch out, do whatever. Next week I'm doing, so it's like just picking up those little things that will get you back into the main, but also get you to the front. It's just working on that. But then it's round 4. It's like, okay. So
it would be cool if we had 6-7 rounds. That would be sweet.
Oh, shit. My kids just came out of me just then.
So, it would be cool if we had another round or 2. Maybe shorten up the motocross and condense the motocross, and then have.
They'll get it, man. It's it's.
But it is what it is, and like it works probably better for my bank account that it's a short season. You know? Like,
Hey,
yeah,
Kale.
yeah,
Hi. It's a
yeah,
10-round series this week.
yeah, yeah, I'd be screwed. So, hey, Kale, can you help me out for another 3 rounds, please? So, yeah, but, nah,
Elijah's giving away
it's all
his
good.
house next week with Kale, guys. So
Yeah,
stick
yeah,
with
yeah, yeah,
yeah. No, that's what sort of it's a blessing in a disguise. It's a short series.
yeah,
Yourself, you're still working, you still can do the short series, but then it's just a short series. So it's you're in, bang, 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 and then you're done type of thing.
yeah,
So for someone like yourself that hasn't been racing all year, especially the guys that have done the motocross series, then you got to come in and try and actually fire off.
yeah,
It takes you till round 3 or 4 to actually get going. So
yeah,
no, I think you're obviously you know what you're doing, and I've been in it before. And man, dude, it was like I just said, it was just sick to see you get in there and tick off that one. And
yeah.
yeah, no, you'll be sweet for the next one. So yeah, looking forward to Melbourne. Few weeks, get a couple of weeks on the bike, and then off to the big smoke, off to the big
Yeah.
stadium, mate. You excited for that one, right?
Yeah, dude, Melbourne's always sick. Like,
Yeah,
if it's obviously the pinnacle of our Supercross season here is Melbourne. You know, even though
yeah,
it's not the last round this year, it's still, I think, it's the biggest and most prestigious one. So, yeah, same thing. Like, got main event is the goal. Now we sort of know where we're at. Main event is the goal. We got a couple extra dudes coming over, so that'll make it a little harder. But we do have 20 gates this round, so there's another couple gates that are available.
yeah.
So. Yeah, I'm
That's
excited
good.
for it. Melbourne's been okay for me in past years. It's always decent dirt. Like the dirt, I think, is a little firmer. It's a little harder. It doesn't get so rutted out,
It
which I
looks
think
nice.
which suits me a little better. So,
Yeah,
so I'm excited for that. Because Redcliffe first round was pretty gnarly shootout. Obviously, Sydney blew out. So, you sort of get stuck in not doing the huge rhythms that all the other guys are doing. So
yeah,
with the hard, with the more hard packed dirt, it suits me a little better. It's more like what I practice on. So I'm sort of, even just with that little knowing that the dirt's going to be like that and knowing what the dirt's going to be like gives you a little bit more confidence.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm gonna go over like a few days early and just make a bit of a trip about like a trip with it and
yeah.
spend some time in the city with my partner and just
Sick.
enjoy it.
Yeah. No, it's always a good place to go to, a good spot, always brings in the crowd. And yeah,
Yeah,
it's going to be one of those ones that's going to go off again. Obviously, you got the two biggest names in the sport
yeah,
basically coming over
yeah,
for it.
yeah.
Obviously, does that put something in your sort of thing? Those guys are coming in, you get those few more gates, but does that mentality go, no, I was here in the last round, so I'm going to put myself back in that position, and not just phase that out and just go, right?
Yeah, well, I've been doing the maths. I'm like thinking in my head, well, I was 15th in the mains. I know a few people crashed, but technically I got third in the LCQ. So that puts me 15th, right?
Yeah.
So add Hunter, Jet, Cooper, there's 3. So that still
Yeah.
puts me 18th. So I still in that main event.
It's in
But
there. Yeah.
yeah,
No, it's just those little things that sort of play in your mind. You're like, "Oh, shit, that's gonna push me back." But,
yeah,
like you said, work on your starts over the break, get that sort of dialed, and then
yeah.
you're sweet. Like,
Yeah,
you
I,
just
I do. I missed so last year because the way they run it last year, I'm not sure if they're going to run it the same this year. It's
okay.
obviously you go, you get a free practice, and then if you're not inside the top 20 from qualifying, then you obviously don't get to race the 3 mains.
Yeah,
So
right.
I'm not sure if they're running it the same this year or if they're going to run heats and LCQs. I'm not sure. We'll find out soon. So I was close last year. I had a crash in qualifying, and that sort of ruined it for me. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So this year, dude, I would love to be on the line with the Lawrence boys and Cooper
Yeah.
Webb. Like, that would just be so
It
cool
just
to.
that tick, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly right. Like I've raced Chad, I've raced Jason Anderson, I've raced those guys in years
Yeah.
past in Melbourne, and that's cool. And now to hopefully make it happen and race the Lawrence brothers would just be like not that that's a bad way to put it. I'm not racing them. I'm on the track at the same time as them. Yeah, that would
Who
be ideal.
who
So
said
even if I
that?
could get a photo of like them lapping me, then like sweet, happy.
Oh, that was a quote not too long ago on a pulp one. It was like Benny Voss and someone else, and they were like, wait. We don't race with them. We race on the same track." It was the exact same
Yeah,
thing. I was like,
yeah, yeah,
"Oh, they even think like that." I was like,
yeah. It's
they do some
wild.
damage, right? Like
Yeah,
mentally,
yeah.
they're like, if you showed up and just Like,
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
So
We race on the same track as
on
them at the
this,
same time.
we're on the track, like,
Yeah.
and then there goes Jet. Okay, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sweet.
But
Oh, far
yeah,
out.
it'll be good. I'm excited for it.
Yeah,
Bit more ride time coming up, and
yeah,
yeah, we'll be in a better position again. So yeah,
yeah. And then body health wise and everything, just back to normal regular
yeah,
schedule program with you.
yeah. We're getting healthier and healthier every week.
Yeah, good.
Obviously, had the arse injury, the broken tailbone coming into the season, so that's coming along every week.
Yeah,
It's a slow process, but it's
yeah.
getting there. Dude, but honestly, like the driving is what's killing my back. Like,
I
you
bet.
know, yeah, just being in a
Nah,
car for 15 hours a time
yeah.
does a number on your back and your neck. But
You don't have to
you know,
go that
everyone,
straight road this time, mate. You get to go the opposite way. So
yeah,
what,
yeah. So let
8 or 9 for you from there.
yeah, 8 hours, dude. That's a
8.
breeze. Do that in my sleep. Yeah,
We're on. We're off. It's fine. Jump in.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
yeah, that's just going down the road. That's what I always used to get
yeah,
from guys that come over. They're like, "Hey, where's this track we're going to?" I'm like, "I know it's like 2 hours away." Like, you just explain where your practice track and that is last week, and I'm like, "Oh, it's just down the road." And like
yeah.
hour and a half later, they're like, "Where's this track, man?" I'm like, "It's just down the road. It's fine."
Yeah. Yeah. Just down the road. It's a quick
It's
drive
just
down the road. But
down
I
the
mean,
road.
dude, I grew up in the country, so everything
Yeah,
was just down the road.
down the
Like,
road. Just going
yeah,
down the
just
road.
down the road.
45 minutes later, you're like, "We're at the
Yeah.
shop."
Yeah. Literally local grocery stores 30 minutes down the road, just down
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
No, that's sick, man. No, that's cool. Well, we'll try and start wrapping this up now, but we'll try and jump on again. I think there's a couple of races in between here and the next one, and we'll try and
Yeah.
touch base again, which has been good. But it's been fun, man. These have yeah, first one obviously last week got over 600 views or something like that, so that's cool. Like we
Let's
weren't
go.
we weren't coming in here to freaking set the world on fire, but it was just good. We just want to create a space where, you know, like yourself, you're someone that's actually in it still. I'm someone that's been in it, but still love to, you know, banter about the sport and talk. So hopefully everyone's been, you know, loving it, and as well, like, you know, a weekend like last weekend, you see what that sort of thing can do. You know, like a Trent and his following being a TikTok sort of style platform, and what that can do for, you know, someone like yourself or a rider, and it just brings up that personality level, right? So
Yeah.
that's what we're sort of looking for. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, dude, this has been awesome. Like I love obviously love talking about moto. You know, I can talk
yeah,
about moto all day. So
yeah,
yeah, it's cool to have a, you know, a platform where we can just talk freely and not
yeah.
be controlled by anyone and say what we want and whatnot and maybe get ourselves in trouble. Who knows?
We won't get in trouble. We run this.
Ah,
We're both sitting in our sheds. Everyone else is trying to do fancy podcast studios and stuff. We're
yeah,
just like,
yeah,
let's just throw this thing together and go.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
that's been a fun part about it. And I yeah, thanks again for jumping on in it with me. Training and anything coming up for you down your way, man. What do you got?
A lot of work, a lot of 9 to 5 work to
Yeah,
pay these trips away. But no,
yeah,
I'm getting on bike tomorrow, which is
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
So I'll get a day in tomorrow, maybe
yeah.
Friday, and then I've got a level 2 coaching course that I'm
You're
doing on the
coaching.
weekend.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you know, just another thing to add to the basket of everything that I'm doing is doing
yeah,
my level 2 coaching course. So, you know, just
yeah,
another, which for me is a pretty big deal. To be a level 2 coach in the motocross industry is, you know, it's not just something that happens every day. So so that'll be cool. That's on the weekend, and
yeah.
yeah, to have that against my name is something that I probably thought would never happen. So yeah, so it's all happening, man.
No, it's
We're
sick. That was cool. We were talking about that before we got on, and that's something that, you know, that everyone should sort of look into is their future in the sport and all that sort of stuff. And you're great, you know, great with riders and kids and all that sort of stuff,
yeah,
and coaching wise, and just to keep continue along with that, like people, you're out there doing it so people can actually relate to that instead of people that have like, what have you done? You know, show me
yeah,
what you've done. You're
yeah,
actually
yeah,
still out there doing it. So it's
yeah.
like, okay,
Trying,
cool. I'm going to take my kid to this guy because he kind
yeah.
of knows what he's doing, right? So
Yeah, and I think I said last show, like, I think doing the coaching side of things is probably what's kept me in it for so long, you know,
yeah,
and kept me doing it and enjoying it is just, you know, being, you know, in the sport, coaching the kids or whoever it is kind of, it keeps me excited about the sport, and I'm
yeah,
not like getting over it because it's not a drag. Like I actually get to see kids and people progress and enjoy the sport like I did and like you did when we were young, you know, when you
yeah.
learn, and it's always fun. So I
And
think that's
you
kept me
makes you
yeah.
happy when you see those kids get on and go to the next bike or to the next age group and to the next
Yeah.
level, and they actually start succeeding, and you're like, oh, that's what you want. That's all you ever want, is people to move along and actually grow, right? So
and now I'm, now it's at this point where there's kids that I coached on, 65s, 85s. Now they're on big bikes and they're, faster than me now. And it's like, fire out, man. Like, it's actually cool. Like, I'm racing. So a guy, I say a kid, he's, 20 years old or whatever, in the 450 class, who I coached as a junior, is now in the 450 class, absolutely smoking me. So I'm like, so it's full circle, but it is cool to see, those guys keep going and stick with it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, that's it. And coaching wise, just through your Instagram and stuff, if people want to hit you up, down your way. Yep.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Hit me up on my Instagram. I'm obviously always on Instagram. So just message me and just do some local stuff here. Like, I try and do a couple of days a week at the local motocross club in Murray Bridge. They're really good to me. They let me sort of go out there and do some coaching. So yeah, if anyone's keen, or if anyone's coming to SA, hit me up and let's get some sessions sorted.
Yeah, so, and we'll chuck all the links again below. Did it last week, Elijah's Instagram, and you got your merch and stuff. We'll chuck that in there. I didn't do that last week, but we'll chuck that in there as well. And every dollar helps as well, obviously, selling that sort of stuff. And I'm the same, like, I sell merch and stuff, but you make nothing out of it. But hey, it all gets it out there, right?
Yeah, well, even just to, like, for instance, going to Sydney or wherever it is, sometimes you see your own merch, or someone with a shirt that you've helped design and it's part of your sort of brand. It's pretty cool to it's cool to see that. I gave away a jersey to a young kid on the weekend, because I remember from last year he made this custom Wiese shirt with a photo of me, and like I just thought that was the sickest thing. Like, and his old man messaged me, and so I took him a jersey. But just things like that, dude. Like, even money aside, like it's seeing that is probably the coolest thing. And but yeah, cop the merch, jump on the website. I think it's Dirtside Pro, and me and a good mate of mine, Brad Little, he does all the designs and all the hard stuff, and I just try and sell it. So yeah.
Nah, you got to do it, man. You got to sell yourself, and you put it out there. And like you said, you see a shirt getting down the street, and you're like, "Oh, I did that." Or, man, I even see some stuff back in the day, stickers and stuff like that I used to do. I'm like, "Oh, that." It makes you get a little bit warm inside and you're all excited. So, no, that's cool, man. Well, yeah, we'll try and catch up again between this little break. 3-4 weeks or whatever. We'll try and jump in, and a bit more of a casual sort of chit chat. But we'll chuck all the links below. Obviously, as you can see around me, I got shit going on everywhere. And, we got some cool stuff. It's been cool doing this sort of thing. Obviously, as we close this out, always like, share, and subscribe. Obviously, jump on over to Elijah's page as well. The mate that did the video just recently. Sorry.
The Sand Dunes video. Jed.
Yeah, we'll chuck a link to that in down below as well. If anyone's watching this, we'll chuck that in, because that was at the Film Awards Festival and stuff, right?
Yeah, so we had myself, Jed, and a few other guys. Kim, they obviously got together, and they got backing from Sony, and then we made this really cool sort of short film, and it got nominated in. I'm probably going to say this wrong, but it's like Motorsport Film Festival, something like that, or some sort of film festival in London. We got nominated in a few really cool categories, alongside like Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise, and
dude, that's sick.
So to be in that sort of
unreal
company is pretty cool, and there's just 3 dudes out in the dunes filming, and they got those big budgets. So Jed and Kim, those guys did a really cool job. So that was cool. That released week or 2 ago, and it's doing pretty well. So
cool.
That sort of stuff.
That's epic, man. And that's the thing, like, people, like, you're into that sort of stuff as well, and you're putting yourself out there, and man, you're a bit of everything. It's sick. I like it. That's what you got to do there. So,
dude, another one to add. The day before I left, so I left to go to Sydney on Thursday. I had a real late night Wednesday, because I was at a movie premiere that I actually stunt doubled in. So
that's right. Yeah, you did too.
I was at a movie world premiere in Adelaide that I stunt doubled in. I got a film credit and everything, and then
he's on.
And then I had to leave at sun up the next day to go to Sydney.
What's Kale paying you money, mate? You're rolling in it, you movie star and shit.
I wish. I wish. Yeah,
those those 50-cent residual checks rolling in, rolling in, rolling in.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
No,
that's cool, man.
I was the last minute call up for the stunt double, so yeah,
Hey,
we got the scraps, but no,
I'm
it was
sure
cool.
you killed
Cool.
it, and that's where it all starts. I know, like Cody Mackey and stuff, they started on Mad Max, and man,
Yeah,
my boy over there is killing it now, and that's where it all starts, man. So you got to put your foot in the door somewhere, right? So,
that's it. Yeah, if you need another stunt double for some, please let me know.
this is the guy. So,
Yeah,
nah, sick, man. All right, we'll drop some links in there down below to all of that. Yeah, episode 2, man, we done it. We're going to try and keep this thing rolling. Thanks for jumping in.
no
Let's
worries.
yeah, let's catch up on the next one. And yeah, to everyone, like I said, like, share, and subscribe. Check everything out below. And yeah, we'll catch you in a few weeks, guys.